What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the TheEZConvo. I'm Zaid, and I'm joined by my co-host Emmanuel Bird. Today, we are joined by a leader in the Kirksville community. Our guest today is a father, husband, and a friend. He is also the head women's basketball coach at Truman State University.
It's a pleasure to have you on, brother. We're super excited to have our guest today. Some could say that this is the most stylish coach in all of GLVC women's basketball. Um, Coach Theo is in the midst of his seventh season as head coach for the Truman Bulldogs. Coach has done a lot of great work in the Kirksville community, as Zaid has mentioned. He's a Truman State alum, a leader, a mentor, someone who brings culture, creativity, authenticity into everything that he does on and off the court. Like Zayda mentioned, Coach Theo, we're honored to have you on today as our guest, and we hope that this is an easy conversation for you.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. I always, when I'm in, these moments, in these environments where I'm able to impact, people, especially people that, coming to Truman from larger towns and different things like that, it takes me back to my time at Truman and the people that impacted my life. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity. I hope I'm able to share something and mentor you guys and just helping, but also learn from you guys. I still learn from everybody. I learn from my players. I learn from my kids. So it's all about sharing everything amongst each other.
Sure. Now, to start out, man, why don't you just go and tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and kind of like what was life growing up for you?
Yeah, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I grew up born in 1990. So the Jordan LeBron debates, I love them because I love both of them, and I grew up in the midst of that. Jordan won his first ring right a month before I turned one. So I went to, I've been told the stories of going to all the championship parades when I was younger. I don't remember them all just because I was too young. But, I grew up just loving basketball. But a lot of people don't know that my first love was not basketball. My first love was music. I started playing the drums in church when I was five. I literally remember being 5 years old, lifting the chair all the way up so I can reach and playing drums. I started teaching myself piano when I think I was seven. Started playing saxophone when I was nine. Music was what I did. I loved art. I majored in graphic design at Truman, and I didn't really start playing organized basketball like organized until like sixth grade. But I always played. I always played with family and friends and all that. But like I never was on a team until I was in sixth grade, and um, yeah, ended up going to Mount Carmel High School, which is a powerhouse, high school in Chicago. Really a powerhouse for football, but we were really good in basketball as well. Those that know football, Donovan McNabb went to my high school. Simeon Rice went to my high school. Those that know hockey, Chris Chelios went to my high school. Dwayne Wade's son Zaire actually went to my high school for a little bit early in his high school career as well. And I played ball, played JV, played varsity, and like our team was so good, and to be very honest, and I tell my players this, like I wasn't the hardest worker. I was athletic, and I thought that athleticism was going to take me everywhere just because that's what you're taught. People forget, like Derrick Rose is really athletic too, but he had a strong work ethic, in that South Side of Chicago. So my parents really instilled in me, like though I love sports, music, art, all those different things, grades. Like you gotta, stay in your books, stay on your studies. Your grades can take you anywhere. You're one injury away from, whatever. And ironically enough, head into our first tournament, my senior year, I got injured and missed my entire senior year of high school basketball. Um, Long story short, I was number five in the class. I ended up getting a full academic scholarship to Truman. And, I stayed in the gym, didn't really push to try to like walk on or different things like that. Like, I was really good friends with all the men's players. So, like, being around y'all and stuff, like, that's normal to me. Like the men's players would come to my intramural games. Like, we'd have seven or eight men's basketball players sitting in those bleachers at the rec watching us play because they were our guys and everything. So, I needed a work study job my junior year, and a good friend of mine, he was like, "Hey, I can get you a job with the women's basketball team." I was like, all right, let's see. I love basketball. I got a manager job, started training some of the players on the side, and the coach like was cool with it. Like, and I don't know why, but he was totally cool with like me training players after practice and different things like that. He gave me a student assistant job going into my senior year, and I had known at that point that I didn't want to be a graphic designer. Like I loved graphic design, but I didn't want to sit in the office 40 hours a week and punch clocks, and I just couldn't do that. It's not what I wanted to do at all. So um, I felt like it was too late for me to change my major. I'm in my senior year, so I'm not changing my major and starting school all over again. So let me search for a master's program. And we had just started the leadership program here, leadership master's rather at Truman. And in that master's, you could, back then, it's kind of changed a little bit now, but you could specialize or emphasize rather in whatever you wanted. So I went into leadership with an emphasis in coaching and sports management. And became a grad assistant. New coach got hired, kept me on as her grad assistant. We won the conference championship. So we had that connection going. Our starting point guard, Amy Briggs from Lansing, Kansas, her dad had just finished winning state championship at Lansing High School out there in the Kansas side. My wife and I moved to Kansas City right after I finished my master's. She had finished her bachelor's, moved to Kansas City, and it's a place that was kind of neutral. Her dad, works for the Royals, so she knew Kansas City a little bit. She didn't want to go back to Quincy. I didn't want to go back to Chicago. We were like, cool, let's go to Kansas City. And we went there, and Coach Briggs out at Lansing High School hired me on as his assistant boys coach. I loved my time there, but I did learn very quickly. I didn't want to coach high school and I didn't want to coach boys. I learned that very quickly in those moments, but I really cherish those moments because I was young. Like I was 24. So when some of those guys started talking a little bit, it's like, cool, let's play one-on-one. Like I'm in my prime. Let's go. So we played one-on-one before practices. We haven't done contests before and after practice. Like I felt so good. It was that I missed that a lot. That was a lot of fun for me to still like be young, but like I could talk, I could bang, with those guys. They're 18. One of them played football at KU. I could be, physical with those guys and not, too worried about hurting them, but like we can have fun at the same time too. And then the assistant job here opened up on the women's side. I interviewed for it 3 days before my wedding, got the job like a week later, and I've been back in Kirksville ever since 2016. So, yeah, I spent 3 years as an assistant and then became head coach in 2019.
And when we stop it at the
Yeah,
2016 mark, I've
yeah.
seen a lot of stuff on Instagram has been saying 2026 is the new 2016.
Right.
So I wanna get into that part of your journey
Yeah,
very soon, but I want to take you back a little bit.
2016.
Hey, for real, and I want to take you back a little bit to growing up in the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah.
What were some of those like pivotal experiences that you had? You said you went to school with guys like Simeon Rice. Dwayne Wade's son was a member of your school early in his career. You said like what were some of those pivotal moments for you? Growing up in Chicago to shape you to be the man you are today.
Yeah, like being in Chicago. I grew up on the South Side, like in the city, like in the city. My parents moved me out of there when I think I was 4 or 5. I think I was about to turn 4, about to turn 5, something like that. We moved to the south suburbs. Much safer. Like I grew up, I went to private schools. Like Truman is the only public school I ever went to in my whole life. Like I was private school first through 12th, 12th grade. Um, and that was cool for me. Like it was really good for me. Even just being in Chicago, it taught me moving to the suburbs taught me um, about other cultures. Like when I grew up, like my best friends, I had 4 best friends growing up that lived kind of like on my block. It was two white twins, a mixed kid, and an Asian kid. Like those are my best friends. It was us 5. We'd be playing basketball
Like
in
a
my
Disney Channel
backyard.
crew,
Going
dog.
to the house. We playing Nintendo 64 and all that. Like those are people I grew up with. Those are my friends. But then my church was in, the South Side. You know, I'm going to choir rehearsal, got to play drums. We trying to dip out of there real quick before people start shooting. You look at like where I went to high school, I once I got to like my junior year, I would take the train from my house to my high school. It's like a 30-minute train, which people think is so weird. Like, you took the train. It's like, yeah, I was on the south side, south suburbs. I had to get to the in the city. I couldn't drive at 15, so I took the bus early on, like my freshman sophomore year, I believe. And then once I really got into like playing basketball, varsity stuff like that, I took the train because sometimes we'd have late practices and different things like that. And that taught me a lot because I had some people look out for me so much and saved my life and blessed me. Because there was a public school that was 2 blocks away, and I'm on the south side. So private school, public school, you already know how that is, in the city. So some people I knew went to the public school and they would tell me, they would text me and be like, Theo, don't take the train at this time. I was like, what? And they're like, we jumping somebody at the train station. Bet I will not take the train at that time. I would take that. But like people would look out for me because they knew like, Theo, you got something going for you. And let's keep you out of this. This is not who you are. Theo, you ain't into the gangs, the drugs, this and that. So let's keep you far away from this. Let's protect you. And I really appreciated people for doing that for me. But like just being like daily, being in two different environments taught me how to be a chameleon. I could fit in with shoot, almost three different environments. Like I could fit in with all the people that's in my honors and AP classes. I started AP classes in my freshman year. So I'm in there with like my best friend in high school was number two in the class, got a full ride to Stanford. Like Stanford used to work for Google. Like so I could fit in with them. I could fit in with my guys in basketball, but if I gotta hop on the train station, take off my vest and put on a different jacket to not look like I go to a private school just so I can make it home, safely on this train, I could fit in there too. So it kind of taught me how to be a chameleon, which really translated over to Truman, honestly, because I had the people that was that was the alphas, the kappas, and all that. So I'm cool with them. I got, my guys is on the basketball team, so I can talk shop with them, but I also got the guys that I'm at the rec with and in the reels with all the time. But then I got my people that's in the graphic design class. One of them used to work for Pixar and DreamWorks, so I can, fit in with them over there. And so it taught me a lot of just, you can be you, but understand that there are several parts of you that, you can pull one side out here, you can pull one side out there so that you're comfortable, but you also make other people feel comfortable too.
And kind of growing up, did you have any specific mentors or influences that kind of have shaped your approach to coaching over time?
Ooh, for coaching. I would say my brother is a big one. My brother's 17 years older than me. For me, like I didn't grow up with my brother in the house. Like we lived in the house together for 1 year. I don't remember it. Like I'm in my brother's signing picture. My brother played football at Vanderbilt in the '90s. So I'm in his signing picture. Don't remember that. I'm not even 1 years old yet. But when I got older, he would always talk to me just about just like basketball. He and my older cousin that passed away, back in 2020. They would always talk to me just about the basketball side of things. Like if you really want it, work for it, and I did it, and but they really preached like we don't want it more than you, and all of that. And then when I got to the coaching piece, I find myself saying those same things to my athletes, but I'm in a space now where I can help them figure out that they want it. I can help them learn how to want it, how to go get it, how to go grasp it. But I wouldn't, I would look at it, if I didn't have those conversations and, I'm playing outside, my brother, and they taking it to me. And I finally got to the point where it was like, y'all want to play? It's like, oh, you 6'3" now. We good. I
That's real.
got to the point
That's
where I can
real.
be with them and all that. But it was a grind to get good at basketball, man. It was a grind, and like I learned that because they never took it easy on me. Like I didn't grow up like y'all, you know, every time y'all play ball, it's air conditioned and you got, the wood floors. Like I grew up playing ball outside. Like my first dunk was outside. And but that's how we grew up playing, just like I'm 9 years old playing with, 19 to 30 years old, and I got to figure out how to hold my own. I got to figure out what can I do to get picked up? What can I do to stay on this team? What can I do to get the ball? Like all those different things. And I find myself with our players, like we talk about roles, just like we talk a lot about roles. Like every role is important, every role is different, but every role is not equal. Like she might get to take this shot and you don't, and that's okay because it's her role to take that shot. Like that is what it is. And if you want to be out here on the floor, then you gotta buy into this role. And I learned that a lot just growing up playing ball. Like ain't nobody passing a 9-year-old the ball. But can I outrun everybody and make this layup? If I make this layup, they're gonna throw it to me again. Can I, whatever you got to do, like just all the little things until I got, bigger, stronger, faster, all those different things. But I wish that there was more just like pickup in just this day and age of basketball, and not playing against, no, not always playing against people that are your age, playing against people that are older and, wiser. And I talk about you a lot. I'm like, man, you have an old man's game and I love it. Like, let me get,
Hey,
I
I was
love it.
offended at first. You was like, I got an
No,
old man. I was like,
no, it's
dang,
not a
bro.
bad thing. Like, you play ball with such a high IQ. Like, it's no, like, let me go get mine. It's like, no, let me catch it. If you ain't got it here, I'm gonna hit you on this DHO. We're gonna flip this ball screen. If I get it here, cool. I got the back door. We got zoom action. It's all just like, it's all IQ. It's all, but it's calculated. And then you catch it in the post, you're like, all right, you want to bang? Cool, I'm gonna set you up here. I got this hook. Either way, don't matter. But like, but that's what I saw growing up.
For
Like
sure.
that's what I saw growing up. It's like man, this guy catching in the post, it's over. You send him this way, he got it. Send him that way, he got it. You help, he throwing the skip. You help, he throwing the drop. Like that's what I saw, and I love watching you play. I've always said that. It's like you play like guys I played against growing up that was older than me, and there was nothing I could do to guard them because they were so skilled.
I had a coach. I think last year. Yeah, I had a coach last year who played at Minnesota, and he would always be like, "Bro, you play like Sean May. You play like Sean May back in
Yes,
2000." And I'll be
yes,
like, "Bro, who is Sean May, bro? I don't want to play like Sean May. Like, you're a kid growing up. You want to play like Kevin Durant. You want to be like
right,
Carmelo or something." And I
right.
appreciate, what I'm saying. I try to do the best I can in the way that I play and stuff like that. But like he'll tell me I play like Sean May, and I don't think it's a coincidence that you say that too. And I
May was
appreciate
a dog.
the love for sure.
He's an absolute dog. It was nothing you could do. He was it's just a skill. Like you don't see a lot of bigs these days that are okay being on the block, but also know what they're doing on the block. Like that's the other thing. Like everybody want to sit on the block, oh you 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot, get in the post. Like, yeah, but they don't know what to do. They don't know how to pass out of the post. I always say that like a because we, sometimes we double in the post. Sometimes I tell my girls like, don't double the good post player. They're used to getting doubled. They know what an outlet star is. Like, go double the bad post players. They don't know what to do. So sometimes when teams throw double teams at you, I'm like, this is the wrong thing to do. He know where all the outlets are. He baiting this double team all
Most of the
day.
time, yeah. You can hear it, and Zayd's starting to pick up on it too, in the way that you talk about the game of basketball and your love and passion for it. I want to ask you, bro, what what keeps you grounded and I don't want to say disconnected, but gives you that like, all right, it's basketball time right now, and then keeping you in a sense of like, okay, and you've been doing this since 2016 and so on. Like, what gives you that sense of okay, we had a good practice, we had a bad practice, we had a good game, we had a bad game. How do you kind of disconnect yourself from those moments, and then we'll get into your full on coaching journey after this one.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a process, and I would say probably more so this year than any other year. I've been able to probably this year. Then like you look back when like I had Briggs for those 3 years. Um, I had a staff that I trusted to tell me like, "Hey, we need to work on this," and I would listen to them. Like there are a lot of things that we have shifted in our practices that aren't from me. There are recommendations from TJ, from Lex, like, hey, like, we struggling this and that. And, sometimes as a coach, like, you're watching everything. So sometimes you focus on one thing and you don't see the other stuff. Like, oh, this girl cooking. Is like, yeah, she cooking because she sucked at defense. I'm like, oh, yeah, you might be right. You might be right. So for me, I think I've learned, and this is like how I coach on the floor too. Like, I'm always analyzing the why. Like, always analyzing the why. I don't pay attention as much to what is going on, which sounds crazy because the what is the result. The what is the win or the loss. The what is the turnover or the score. But like, I'm looking at the why. Like, always looking at the why. So even in how I sub, like, I sub based on feel. There is no flow to my substitution batters. None. It is all feel. It is all why. It is all that. So I've learned to just analyze the game that way. And it's honestly come from watching a lot of basketball. Like, I watch a lot of basketball. And I think a lot of it comes from who I've grown up watching. So, like, I grew up watching the Bulls and Phil Jackson, the Lakers, Phil Jackson, the Sixers with AI and Larry Bird. And then you transition that to, I mean, I'm a huge LeBron fan, so I watch LeBron everywhere. But I've seen Bron play like 7 times. And I'm watching how he's manipulating the offense, how he's manipulating the defense, how he's manipulating the officials. Because we got to do that too as coaches. I know which ones I don't. I mean, I guess it's gonna be out there, but I know which ones I can get on, and it's gonna benefit me, and ones that I'll get on, and it's not. And I'm just not gonna talk to you, but I'm gonna tell these other two officials to talk to you because you're gonna listen to them. And it's all a game. It's a game within the game. So um, for me, it's just a lot. It's experience, and then it's watching, but it's trusting my players. Like, all right, early on in the season, teams start pressing us, we start turning it over, and let me call these timeouts real quick because y'all ain't been in these moments. I'm gonna tell you what to do, this and that, and then later on in the season, as happened a couple of weeks ago, we start turning it over, this and that. They look at me, you want a timeout? Nope. Figure it out. You put yourself in the situation. Figure it out. We're not going to lose this game. Trust me. Figure it out. I'm not going to let that happen. But figure it out. You have to be able to figure these moments out, and trust yourself, trust the people that you're out there with to figure those moments out together. Because what if in 2 weeks we start getting pressed and I'm out of timeouts and there's 15 seconds left? I can't bail you out. So we try to put our players in those moments, but also hope that they put themselves in positions to where we can use some of these games as practice to get live reps, to be in these moments where, like, all right, we can mess up a little bit here, and, like, we don't want to, but it's not going to cost us a game. But can we manage our emotions? Can we manage the moment? Can we manage the crowd? Can we manage all of this to where when it does really matter and it's not we're up 30 but we're up 3, can we manage it in those moments because we've been there before and it's not us repping it in practice where, like, yeah, you need real reps in practice, but it ain't real. There's no implications in this. We try to get to a point, luckily we have in the last 3 games where, all right, let's practice some stuff. And that's been really cool for us.
Awesome. You kind of talked about your journey to kind of where you're at now and, growing up. I want to back up just a little bit. What was it like when you first got that call that you were going to be the head women's basketball coach at Truman State? Kind of what this moment was like for you, and what year did you start with that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna back up a little bit because I kind of glossed over how I got the head job because it's not traditional. So the head coach that I was working with, we worked together. We won a ton of games. We set school records twice for wins in the season, and all those different things. So we were about to go into our 4th year together, and she got the call to go be the first assistant on jury. You already know how we feel about jury. You already know what it is, right? You already know what it is. But I knew what she wanted. She wanted to eventually become a head coach. And sometimes or a head D1 coach. And sometimes you just need the right platform. Sometimes you just got to be in the right environments with the right people to be on that stage and produce. And she ended up going over to, and actually, I was the first person that knew that she was going to take that job, I believe. I went and spoke with her. I remember it was a Friday. It was a Friday before school started in 2019. I'm at her house and I think we were talking for like an hour, hour and a half. And I told her, I was like, hey, as much as I don't want you to leave, because I never planned to be a head coach. We throw that out there. That was never a dream of mine. Like I had to do a 5 to 10 year plan. My first semester in my master's program, head head college coach was not on there. Wasn't anything I thought I could do. I didn't play in college. Why would anyone give me an opportunity to be a head coach? That's what I'm thinking. I'm naive, right? And then you look at Brad Stevens and all these guys, right? So I sit down with her and I was like, "Hey, you got to take this job. I don't want you to, but you have to because of where you want to get to. You got to take it. You got to be on that stage. You might have tapped out what we could do at Truman. She's number one all time, 111 wins. I was like, you might have tapped out what we could do. I said, but when I joked with her, I said, you always gonna be KD. That's what I said. I said, you're always gonna be KD. You going to the ops. Like, I'm sorry. And she did me a huge favor in her timing. She left on the first day of class. She left on the first day of class. We didn't have a meeting with those players until that afternoon. Well, they already there. They can't just dip out and go somewhere. It's too late. But at the same time, our AD, what you gonna do? It's the first day of class. We start practicing in 3 days. So I sat down with him. I was like, hey, I'm ready for it. I want to take on this opportunity or whatever. I recruited all the girls on the team. So I got the relationships, this and that. And he had met with them and they were like, yeah, we endorse Theo. Like, absolutely. It's simple. So sometimes I get jealous of these head coaches that, get hired April, May. They got a whole summer to plan and what are they gonna do? Like, bro, I had 3 days before my first practice. Well, freshman of the year, we became. I think I became the first head coach, maybe first or second, but I think first to win 20 regular season games in school history. We finished 20-8. And I am gonna say is I never used to mention this, but I think it's important. I still am the first and only African American head coach of school history. So all those things happened really in one moment. But I got the interim job. I didn't just get the full title. I got the interim job. I think we started like 9-3. And then they're like, yeah, you got the full job. Like this is yours. And I found that out that I was going to get the official title. I think it was like 2 or 3 days before a game. And that Sunday, like we lift and practice on Sundays. So we're in the weight room. We'd just be whoever on that Saturday. We're in the weight room on Sunday or whatever, and I have the AD come into the weight room to tell the girls that I'm that truly the head coach and different things. They're going crazy in the weight room, whatever, and they look at me. They're like, "So we still got practice?" And what they didn't know is I had already booked up the bowling alley, so we went straight from the weight room to the bowling alley and just celebrated there and all of that. So that was kind of my journey to becoming a head coach. It was very stressful. It was very hectic. It was a week or two where I'm like, what is about to happen in my life right now? Um, like I'm cool to go be an assistant for her, for going to my 4th year. I want this head coaching job almost because I feel I have to take it. I don't want to neglect these girls and leave these girls, but I'm scared. I never planned to do this. I don't have 3 months to prepare for it. I got 3 days, and it all just worked out. It all worked out in our favor. And then our second year, we went to the national tournament, became the first team since 1999 to win a tournament game. We went to the second round of the national tournament, lost in the conference championship, lost in the round of 32. Yeah, it was a cool start to my journey for sure.
And I want to, real quick before we continue to get into the journey through, I want to ask you, like, what did those early years teach you as a coach? Like those early years coming in, honestly, just getting thrown into the fire. I don't want to pick apart too much what you said, but I'm hearing what you're saying with the whole you get an April, you get a May, you get a June, and I'm with you. I'm with you right there. It's you get thrown into the fire. What do those moments teach you in those early first 2, 3, 4 years of coaching?
Man, it's something I still believe to this day. There's power in trusting your players. Like there's power in it, man. Like all you guys want us to feel valued. And for me as a young coach, like I'm what was I 29? Like my senior was 20, 21, 22. She's still like a little sister to me. Like she was never my player. She was my little sister. Her freshman year was my first year as assistant. Like we grew up together essentially in this college game. So there's power in players feeling as though they can talk to you, players feeling as though their input is valued, but also power in them understanding that just because you tell me something don't mean I gotta listen to you. And like having that balance too. So from that first year till now, you can ask my players and walk through. If I have in my head, cause like I see basketball offensively, like I see it all through offense. Like how I defend things is based on how I know somebody could stop me if I'm on offense. Like it's never the other way around. So sometimes, and it's hurt me sometimes, but a lot of times, more so in years past, but even still to this day, I might have two or three different ways that I think we can defend a certain play. So we'll walk through option one, option two, option three. And now our players look at me, I was like, all right, which one felt better? And they're like, option two. All right, cool. That's how we're gonna defend it. Y'all the ones out there. Like just because I think something looks easier doesn't mean it feels easier. So like I started that. I didn't see that. I didn't learn that from anyone. That's just something that made sense to me in my first year, and I still do it. Like yesterday, we're about to start the second half, and I don't know how much we were up. And I go to Mo, and I was like, "You want to go zone or you want to go man? I want to go zone. All right, bet. Let's go zone." Like y'all the ones out there. And it's not to say my players run my team, no, but I definitely have more this year than probably any year a player led team. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that. I wanted to get to a point where I coach you in practice and I manage games. Like if I have to coach you in games, we're probably gonna lose. Like truly, we're probably gonna lose. Like I should be able to manage the game and manage adjustments, manage rotations, manage, what sets we run and who we run it for and different things like that versus teach you how to close out. I should have taught you that in September. So I wanted to get to that point. I don't think I'm completely there yet, but I definitely do less coaching in the 40 minutes than I did 2, 3 years ago. Absolutely. And when I've had my teams where I truly could sometimes honestly watch games as a fan while I'm on that sideline, I know we're in a good spot. It's like when I can watch and I can go crazy and I can be involved in the game just from an energy standpoint. Um, and yeah, and I would say, sorry, the last thing I'll touch on this, kind of like you talked about like where I learned some of this. Twitter. Like early on in my career, um I would start the first play of every game with the playoffs on Twitter. Like, oh, this looks good. Let's try it out. Sometimes we'd keep it. Sometimes we run it again. Sometimes we scratch it. Like, if I lose a game based on us not scoring on the first possession, something's wrong. Um, so I used to do that like my first 4 or 5 years of my career every game. Oh no, I take that back. Hannah Bellinger's senior year, we always would run a play to put her on the post or put her in the post. She was like a 5'7", 5'8" guard, strong as I don't know what. She was player of the year her senior year, and I'm like nobody can guard her in the post. So every play or every game, I would run a play to put her in the post. It'd be a different play, but I'd put her in the post. And I'm like, we get to like game number 17. I was like, do these coaches not realize the first play every game is for her on the block? Like, how are they not planning for this? But then Twitter really helped me, I think, in November this year. We started out 1-3, and we were headed into our third tournament of the year, and we're at the jury tournament. And at this point, we got 9, 10 sets in. We have our continuity offense. We got we got like 15 different things we can do on offense. And I have such a dynamic team. This kid can go get her own. That kid can go get her own. This kid don't miss threes. We got such a dynamic team. And the morning of that shoot around of that first game, I hopped on Twitter like I do every morning. Every morning I check my email, I check Twitter, I check Instagram before I get out the bed. So I hop on Twitter and I see this men's coach. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, I can't give him credit. I don't know who he coaches. I know he was a men's coach. And his quote said, if we are doing our jobs correctly, I should only have to call a play in the last 5 minutes of the game. And that stuck with me. And we had to shoot around, whatever we do our thing to shoot around. And then we get ready for our game. And then I go over to Mo, our point guard, and I say, hey, scrap all the plays, only run 5 out, Euro, pistol action, and Princeton action. That's it. Don't run any plays unless I call them. And she's like, all right, cool. Well, our offense looked pretty good in the last couple games. And I was like, why am I going to teach this 5 out motion offense if I'm not going to let my players run it? Like, motion is all reads. Well, if every possession down the floor, I'm calling a different set, then we wasted our time and all gets putting in the offense, putting in motion, putting in reads. Like motion is meant to be difficult to guard because you don't know what it's going to look like every possession down the floor. So I got to give my players an opportunity to read each other, to play off each other. And you were there at the Lewis game where our offense looked like crap. And it was a long day. There's a lot of factors into it, but our offense looked like crap. That next day at Upper Iowa, we spent 30 minutes just on our offense, 5-on-0. Let's just milk it, milk it, milk it. Next day, scored 77, then scored 79, then scored 108. It's just like, but that's the trust in the players, though. Like I'm gonna trust that you understand our offense, you know how to make reads, this and that. I'm gonna put the ball in your court, so to speak, and let you run the offense. And if it don't work, it's on me. But if it does work, you're gonna look pretty good.
I know that's
Can't
awesome. I
test
really
that.
like how you
Can't
mentioned.
test that. I've seen it. Looks pretty good. It looks like good hoops.
Man, you sound like a coach I would have loved to play for, man, growing up. I was a collegiate basketball player. He obviously plays, having a coach that trusts you, it makes such a big difference nowadays. And you have coaches sometimes that like they damn near are coaching like they're out there too with their shoes on, like they're about to hoop too. Like
I want to get out there. I'm too old now.
Man, Zayd, I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking in a sense of like just growing up having a coach that's like, man, just breathing confidence into their players too. And I know this too from like, being on campus, being around talking to some of the players too, and just the way that they speak on how like, oh, Coach T told me to shoot that. Like he wanted me to shoot it from 2 feet behind the line. I'm like,
Bro,
real? Like, yeah,
we
like
tell them to pull up threes and they not taking. I'm like, y'all, like I'm telling you to take this.
it's
I'm
true.
like they
It's
before
true.
they cross half court, pull up, pull up. I'm reading the defense. She backpedaling. Take this three. And they're
Man,
like, I don't know. I'm like, girl, take it.
I Zayd, I'll let you get into your next question too, but I want to say this, like, it's not very many coaches you sit down and talk with, and they're like, yeah, like I was on Twitter and I liked that play, so I drew it up. I mean, you'll talk to so many coaches and they'll try to paint themselves as this amazing basketball mind, like, oh, I made this play up, I created it. Like I saw it on Twitter too. Like I'm on Twitter too, so it's
The best
that's
coaches are
real,
the
that's
best
real
thieves.
humble of you to just be like, yeah, like this is how I go about it, and it's been working.
no, that's super smart too. I feel like a lot of coaches too nowadays, like they get coached to searching like growing up. They think that's the only way you can coach.
Yeah,
That's the only way you can coach kids. Like, oh, this is just how I coached. I got coached all my players like this. But it's like a new. I mean, basketball has changed so much over the years, and like it's the digital age, man. Like you
yeah,
have to use that stuff to your advantage, and you can really learn so much from Twitter, YouTube, not just in basketball, just in anything in life.
yeah,
So
yeah,
really,
man. We a lot of what we do, like you won't see it because we don't have the athleticism as a guy, but a lot of what we do is actually comes from the NBA. Like I told you, I watch so much LeBron. Like a lot of what we do comes from like we used to have a play back in the day called Cavalier because the LeBron's on the Cavs and they ran. You probably remember like LeBron would catch in the post, wait for a second, and then turn baseline, throw a baseline bounce pass to Kyle Korver in the corner for the three. We used to run that play. We stole it from them. But a lot of what we do, like we peel switch, like we jam up on our switches on ball screens. I stole that from USA Basketball. If you go watch the Olympics, every ball screen that they were in, they switched unless Embiid was in it. They went in a drop with Embiid. Every other ball screen, they were jamming up, pushing that screen up higher so they can get under that screen. I was like, No ref has called a foul yet on them bumping the screener. In 2 years, we've never gotten a foul called for us jamming up on this screen, and we get under these switches. I'm like, it's so smart. But if I didn't watch men's basketball just because I coach women's basketball, I never see that. I never, men, y'all peel switch all the time. I'm like, man, stop helping out the corner. You about to give up this three. But like, you see it so much in men's basketball. And it was something like peel switching is something I wanted to do for years. And I'm like, oh, but I preach don't help out the corner. And in this group, we have such high IQ players that in practices, I would see them peel switching it would work. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I like to this day, I've never taught it. And instead, when they would do it in games, I would pull it up. We watch film after our games. We call them like areas of growth, teaching moments, and then championship plays. And when our players start to peel switch and be on the same page, you see it in championship plays. And I just start to throw it in there. And now our player just starts to do it more and more and more at the right times. We're like, oh, this player's getting beat. All right, I'm in better position to stop the ball. Let me call it out. And now it's like part of what we do, but it's not like, hey, you have to peel switches. It's more so if you peel switch, I need to hear take mine. If you're gonna choose to do it, I need to hear you talking to your teammates. So a lot, man, there's so much what we do that comes from the league.
All right, that's awesome. We're wrapping up in probably the next 10 minutes or
Yeah.
so. Next question for you when it comes regarding coaching. You talked about the X's and O's and that side of basketball. But with all because you're a father, correct? Are you a
Yeah.
father too? That's
He
awesome.
is. Yeah.
Outside of basketball, with the girls you're coaching, being a father, how do you see yourself impacting the girls you coach, outside of basketball, and what values and morals do you want to instill in them, to carry on into life, whether when they have a family, when they work a job, what's
Absolutely.
kind of what are you instilling in your players?
I try to instill just like the work ethic, belief in yourself, belief in the people you work with, finding joy. Like joy is huge. If you don't have joy in what you're doing, you're never going to do it to the best of your ability. Um, but also giving 100%. And a lot of people think that giving 100% means like always be on 100. It's like, no, give 100% of whatever you have. You might have 80, so don't give me 75. Give me all 80. And that's, I mean, as a parent, as a father, oh, sorry, I said parent, father. As a parent, as a husband, as a son, a coach, like I don't always have 100. Like now, your body isn't 100%. Since you started college basketball, your body hasn't been 100%, and it won't be until you're done. But you can give 100% of what you have every single day. But then we also talk about being 1% better. We like it's in our locker room. 1% better is in there. Be 1% better every single day. Like, can you be better than you were yesterday? Like, and that's like the mantra that people talk about now, just like stacking days. It's all the same thing. But at the same time, if you stack days, but you're the same every day, you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So can you stack days will be 1% better every single day? I think is a better way to look at that. But my players are around my kids. Like we have team dinners at my house every month. My kids are running around and this and that and jumping on them. My son up there singing Lion King. My daughter singing Moana. Like they get to see like me outside of the suit and tie and the Curry zone. Like they get to see me like grabbing up my son every time. Like, bro, calm down. Or like my daughter's all up on me and I'm combing her hair. Or like one of our kids that's coming in the fall. She FaceTimed me when she committed. My daughter, or I think my son was in my arms, just like going crazy on FaceTime. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm excited that you're committed, but like, this is also my life. Like my son is climbing all over me. And, my son goes out with me recruiting. Like he was with me in Iowa last month. He goes to Kansas City. I'll take him to St. Louis. Like my kids are with me. So they get to see like you can do both. You can be present in both. But at the same time, there is a balance. My players know probably, well, all my players now have only known me as a father. So in years past, like you hit me up at 9 o'clock for a workout, I'm there 9:05. Now it's like, yeah, I might not respond to you till the morning. I'm sorry, I'm in bed with my daughter. Sorry, I can text you, or I might not answer the phone. But they also know in emergency situations, like one that happened, a couple months ago. Players call me like, "Hey, this and that." My wife knew, "Hey, watch kids. I got to bounce." I'm rolling over to the house and make sure everything okay. So I think having kids now, like I'm on alert a little bit more for these players just because like I got a daughter. They're someone's daughter. So I feel like I'm definitely not a father figure to them. I don't want to be. That makes me feel like Unc. I don't want to be Unc. I don't want to be Unc. But I do look at them as younger sisters of mine. Like I love those girls. So like I'm gonna take care of them. Like I'm gonna be on them. Like I'm always gonna love you as a person. But that doesn't mean that you just gonna get on the floor just because I love you. So it's that balance there too. It's like you got to give me something to prove this. I'm still take care of you. We gonna eat good. You gonna have all the gear, this and that. But like you got to give me something outside of just my natural care for you to make me put you on that floor. So they understand. I hope they understand that too. And that's gonna be something they take. You know, as a leader, as professionals, and all those different things. Like there's gonna be a pecking order and things. That's just life. But finding out a way to make people feel valued is something that I'm still learning because so many people look at their value as minutes and points. And we all know that I can't start 15 players and I also can't play 15 every single game. But how can I still try? I might not be successful, but how can I still try to make them feel valued? No matter how many minutes they play, how many points they score, how many rebounds they grab, any of those things. And I'm not perfect at all. Trust me, I know I'm not. I've had several conversations with players in the past. I'm not perfect, but I try, and I just hope they notice that.
I wanna I wanna get into this real quick. I told myself I would not do it, so I gotta do it. We talked about earlier your love and passion for graphic design and things like that. If anybody on here has watched a women's basketball game for Truman, you have seen Theo on the sideline. You have seen him in the boots. You've seen him in the turtleneck. You feel me? Like I
Yeah,
personally love it. I say it to anybody who's like, oh, like you see the fit. And I'm like, I love it because if you're looking at it and you're thinking, I would never wear that. That's how
yep,
you know you don't got style because you
right.
can't put it on. But anyways, we was talking. Me and Zay was talking about that earlier. But anyways, where does that come from, bro? Like, where does that want to of I'm gonna look good, feel good type of thing? Where does that come from?
Yeah, it comes from like my parents because I dress like that, like a little bit more toned down, but I dress like that as an assistant too. But definitely when I took over as head coach, I'm like, I'm about to pop off. Like let me put my stuff on and do this. But it came from my parents. Um, Both of my parents were in the fashion. My dad passed away almost 2 years ago. So you've seen my mom. Like my mom lives here with us here in Kirksville after my dad passed. But my dad, like the boots I have were his. He used to try to get me to wear boots. I'm like, Dad, I ain't wearing no boots, man. Like I'm trying to wear the Jordans. Like go buy me some Jordans. I don't want no boots. And then when he passed, the first time I ever put on a pair of boots, um, it was a month after my dad passed. I took mom back to Chicago for Mother's Day, and I surprised her with my dad's favorite pair of boots on. We went out to dinner, and I had on the boots with the matching belt and all that. That was the first time I ever wore a pair of boots. Um, but my dad, like the watches, the rings, like my dad would have like 3, 4 rings on, all gold, diamond, didn't matter. The chains on. Um, but he loved my dad was someone that like my dad grew up in Pasadena, California. And grew up, I want to say it was like of course 6 or 7 of them, right? In the house, like a 2 bedroom house. So like he didn't grow up with a lot. There was a lot he wanted and different things like that. So when he got to a point where he can take care of himself and my sisters and my brother and me, and he was like, I'm gonna make sure my kids taken care of. I'm gonna make sure the house taken care of, my wife taken care of, and all that. But I'm gonna take care of me. And he's the first person and the only person I'd ever heard tell me is like, I'm buying myself something for Christmas. I'm buying myself something for my birthday. I'm not gonna rely on somebody to give me what I want. So Christmas and birthdays, I buy myself a gift. Like I learned it from my dad. But my dad would show up to church with like the jeans on, fresh crease down the middle, had the crease on the boots, the matching belt with like the flannel shirt with the cowboy hat, with the gold watch, the gold bracelet. I'm just like, well, that's kind of tough. Like that's different, but that's kind of tough. And my dad was big on colors. He loved colors. He wasn't afraid to wear, a gray suit with the pink shirt and the handkerchief, the yellow shirt. Like he wasn't afraid of no colors. He's like, why can't I wear colors? I love colors. You know, and then my mom was the same way. Like I think I get my love of the color red. Like red is my favorite color. I think I get it from two people, Jordan and the Bulls, and my mom. My mom loves red. So I got red. I got like three pair of red Jordans. Like I love the color red. I just can't wear it as much as half the teams in our league are red. So
I didn't even think of that, but they are lucky.
they all red. But like I got that from them. But one thing my mom told me growing up, because sometimes, as kids growing up, especially teenagers growing up, you get a little lazy, you hop out of bed, throw something quick on and get out the house, whatever. My mom told me growing up, she was like, when you leave this house, you represent us. And I was like, all right, let me come in and fix my shoes and take the Jabros off and put the Levi's on and and look presentable going out of the house. But my parents would always, when I got into college coaching, they would always call me Pat Riley. And if you go look back at Pat Riley when he coached the Lakers, go check them suits out that he had on. My man would be suited and booted, like everything was tough. Slick back hair, and like he always looked good. He looked like royalty. He looked like he owned the place. Um, so when I go out there, I know it's not about me, but at the same time, I've been doing it so long that people expect me to wear certain things and look certain ways. So it's kind of like a little pressure now, for what I put on. Um,
Hey
but
Zed,
like
I'll
people,
tell you this, man. My fault to cut you off there. I'll tell you this, like you'll see it, like it's not just coach either, like the assistants as well. TJ,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
hey, TJ throwing it on, it's on, like you feel me, like, and I think that speaks too to the culture of your staff and your team as well, of just like, um, kind of look good, feel good type of thing, and attribute it to
yeah.
things you were saying too of how you, um, instill what you've learned growing up into your players and things like that.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Confidence is a real thing, man. And the only thing I haven't pulled out yet, like I see you with the hoops on. I got like three pair of hoops. I haven't pulled them out on the games. Like I don't know if I could do that yet, but I got them. It's like I'm gonna just stick with the studs and keep it simple. As soon as I put some gold hoops in, everybody gonna be going crazy. Like, why you got this on? So I still, it's fun, man. Fashion is fun. Like
I didn't
it's
realize I was
fun
ready.
and. Yeah, it's just like what can you do? How can you look different? But also like, everything like, what our players were on the court, like, another team see what our players got on, they might be like, dang, they got that. Oh, we in your head. We got you there. We're trying to win everything. We want to win the sidelines, win the warm-ups, win the game. So it's all competition.
Oh yeah, I love it, bro. I try to get into fashion myself. Try to dress up most days, for
Yeah,
class and everything. It just does make a huge difference, like you said. You just feel better about yourself. You feel
absolutely.
confident.
Yeah, you catching somebody's eye for sure.
Yeah, and like 95% of people you interact with, like you don't even talk. You're not even. You just walking by. You're not interacting with everyone. You like that's their whole impression of you, how you dress, how you present yourself.
Yes. And like I'm a natural introvert too. So like people assume I'm an extrovert because of the confidence that I exude in what I wear. But like, nah, I'd rather not talk to people actually. like, I wish I could go back to the days where I just come home and play my PS4. Like that's what I'd rather do. But people assume, and don't get me wrong, like I got to do my job and stuff like that. But like naturally, I'm an introvert. But you wouldn't know that just based on the confidence that comes off of what I wear, how we dress, different things like that.
I just hope Kirksville shows you the love for the fits, man. I know you're
Uh,
a Chicago
they,
guy, man. Chicago, everyone's gonna be like, oh man, that's tough. They see the vision, but I hope Kirksville's showing the love too.
yeah, they do. They love it. They love it. They give me a hard time, but no, they love it. They love it. They sometimes like, oh dang, you tame today. I'm like, sorry.
Hey, and Zay, like I said, man, the ones who are like, why has he got that on? It's because you can't put it on. Like
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
it's not
don't
that's
listen.
fashion. Like you're mad because you if you put that on, you will look ridiculous. But you mad because you like Theo said, it's kind of like that's that's kind of tough. Like I kind
Yeah.
of like that.
Yeah,
But
you just gotta try stuff out. Like, if it don't look good,
yeah.
I got on for 40 minutes. I don't care.
The
Okay.
the last question I have for you, coaches, what area in your coaching career, moving forward, and like just some of the things you've learned from your past, where are you trying to improve, not only for yourself but for your staff as well, moving forward, the rest of this season, seasons to come on.
Yeah, I think what I've learned is like earlier I said like there's power and like players feeling valued and different things like that. Like I think that all like one area I really want to continue to improve on has nothing to do with X's and O's. I'm sorry if that's where you wanted me to go, but
No,
like
no, this is
okay,
very
perfect.
open-ended
So
question.
like buy-in, like that is something that I've searched for probably 2 or 3 years in how to cultivate. Like, how do you cultivate and sustain buy-in? Like, it's a real thing. It doesn't matter if you have a top five recruiting class. If those kids aren't bought into you and bought into playing together, you're gonna have a bottom five record. And like it's something that's like it's truly confusing. Like buy-in to me is confusing. It's like if you think of an athlete, it's like all right, you get an opportunity, you're getting a scholarship, you're getting your school paid for. Some sports you might be getting a stipend or somebody, paying for your housing and different things like that. You got all the gear, you got a nice locker room, you got your travel, you got your this and you get to play a game you love. How aren't you bought in? Like it's absolutely confusing. But for me, like one thing I wanted to be intentional about, between me, my captains, my staff, our leaders is like, how do we keep the team motivated? How do we keep players bought in? How do we do this? So we've actually been really intentional about it. I won't know until like the end of the year. I'll sit down and be like, all right, did what worked, what didn't? What was too much? What do you wish we did? And I think honestly, I just answered my own question. Like you figure that stuff out by asking the players questions. Asking is like, but them feeling that what you're doing, like it is intentional. Like it is truly for them. Like, yeah, it's for you to help me win, but I need you for me to win. So how do I get you? How do I get into here? Not in a manipulative way, but in a trusting way. And some of my players might say, like, oh, we knew you cared when you took us to get pedicures. You absolutely, hey, but during fall break, all 15 of those girls went over and got pedicures. And they were like, why are we doing this? Because you're on your feet every day. I need your feet healthy. I need your feet to feel good. But people don't think about that.
And
But that's the first time I ever done that. And I was like, that makes so much sense. It don't matter how good your shot feel. If you ain't got a good base because your feet hurt, you're not hitting the shot. You're not making this sprint. You're not closing out. You're not getting to this gap. And I was like, we just went through preseason where we was working. All right, we about to get going. All right, let's revamp. Let's get the body right. I pay for them to get yoga every Sunday. We do yoga every Sunday. Like, hey, I need your body to feel good. I need your recovery, like all these different things. And I'll ask them in March or April, like, all right, what worked, what didn't work, what do you need more of, this and that. But like, it's all for buy-in, because I know now that like I've recruited, developed, and coached 3 freshmen of the year. I know that a freshman of the year isn't going to take you to the national tournament. I've coached a player of the year. I've coached a 2-time All American. I've coached an academic All American. I've coached all region player. I've coached all this. I know that just those people won't get you there. So I'm now going towards like, all right, I'm gonna get the talent here. Talent ain't what I'm worried about. How do I get the talent to be okay with playing with other talented people? And that's what we really focused on last spring going into this year. And I think, at least for me, I've seen a transition in culture, buy-in. Like you've been around our players, like they love each other, bro. Like legitimately. Like they love each other. And Zayd, as you said earlier, is like, most coaches take credit for this and that. Bro, they love each other because of Lexi White and Mallory Ott. It ain't me. I will take zero credit for the culture well, I'll take some credit, but not all the credit for the culture that exists in that locker room. Those two captains said, we are going to leave this program better than we found it. We're going to pour into our teammates. We're going to make sure they feel loved and all those different things. And they did it, and they're doing it. But like buy-in is like that's what I care about. Like next year, the year after, the rest of this year, it don't matter. How can I continue to get buy-in? And then it's going to be, how do I get it sooner? How can I get it in October versus November? How can I get it in September versus October? It's going to be like that, because it's like, it matters. It truly, truly matters, man.
That's great. A really cool story, man, and we appreciate you, sharing everything you got going on. And we're just the last thing we're gonna end this episode with. We kind of do this to all our guests. Just one piece of advice, for the audience or anyone listening that's out there chasing a dream.
Yeah. Surround yourself with people that care about you. Like, I think is extremely important. Many people don't know, but like, I was truly terrified to take over this program, man. Like, terrified. I took over for a legend. Like, the person I took over for is in the Hall of Fame. Like, as a player, should be in the Hall of Fame as a coach. He's number one all time in wins, set 2 records for most wins in a season. Like, I was terrified not to take over for her, but I took over at my alma mater. Like, I wanted to do Truman justice, and bro, my wife was like, "You ready? You got it." And I'm here. You got it. And 2 years ago, when I had the worst season in my career, like, we were trash. Like, coming off a 21 season, went 7-21. What? I had never lost more than, I think, 10 games in my career. And we had a 10-game losing streak, if I'm not mistaken. And like, mentally going, like, showing up to practice every day. I gotta show up if I want them to show up. And I remember we lost that year. We lost on senior day. We got blown out. My brother and his wife had come to watch us play. My parents were here. My in-laws were here. And we finished that game, and I just went into the bedroom. Like, everyone's in the kitchen, living room, hanging out, this and that, waiting on me to get home. I went into that in my bedroom, and I just laid there. And my wife came in. She's like, "What's up? Like, everybody waiting on you." I was like, "Bro, I don't want to see nobody. Like, it's me. Like, I can't coach." Like, and she's like, "Theo, you realize you have like 70 wins. What are you talking about?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You had a bad year. You had a bad season. It's all right. What are you going to do about it?" And, and she was like, whatever happens in life, whatever decision you make, whether you know if it's the right decision or the wrong decision, make it the right decision. And that stuck with me. Like, make it the right decision. Like, we talked to our players, like, yeah, like, in order to go into March and different things, like, you got to get lucky, but create your own luck. Like, luck is built. And like, surround yourself with people that love you, surround yourself with people that care about you, and surround yourself with people that like want you to reach your dreams. Because we all, there's fake friends out there. Like, they gonna root for you when they around you, but they gonna pray for your downfall when they not. Like find genuine people, but be genuine to people. Because we all are gonna have our moments where, we're the ones on the podcast, we're the ones getting the interviews and this and that, and we got to be okay being behind that camera, interviewing somebody else too. And I think that's really important. Everybody wants to shine, and the shine is cool. Don't get me wrong, but like, when it's somebody else's time to shine, we got to be ready to support them.
That's awesome, man. That's great advice. Super down to earth guy, and I'm sure Ika would say the same. Definitely a coach we would have loved to play for. Through our college basketball career, high school, just from basketball in general. So
Yeah,
we really appreciate coming on, and just from talking from you, I can tell you're gonna have a lot of success going forward. So we really
thank you. I
appreciate it.
appreciate it. I appreciate
Yeah.
y'all. Appreciate y'all for sure.
Zay, just so you know, Theo's being modest. He's creeping up on that record. I ain't gonna say too
Come on,
much.
man.
He
Yeah,
being modest, but we see what's going on over there. We see what's going on over there. I ain't gonna, just let it happen. I'm gonna let it happen. But
Absolutely.
again, like Zay said, very down to earth guy. We appreciate you coming on and just spending time telling us a little bit more about your journey and who you are as a person and a coach as well. Like, it was a really good conversation, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I know that was awesome. Best of luck to you, man. We hope this was an easy convo for you. For everyone listening, if you enjoyed our content, make sure you tap in with the rest of our videos. Make sure you like, comment, and share, and we'll be back next time.